Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to another Chart Nerd TA update. I'm getting back into Dome today, Everdome. Now, I wanted to show you, okay, in my previous videos, I was talking a lot about coming back down and filling this wick in here that we had on the 9th of February 2022, okay, and potentially what you can see has happened, okay, because this was previous support. We was holding this as support. Let me show you. So from the 9th of February, we broke out and we hadn't actually back tested this low here, this wick and close low. So what you can see Everdome done was basically come up and roll back down to this level of support here, okay? And it did form a wick, and I said it wasn't a wick that came down to test this low with a candle. So I said be careful, because potentially what you could do is come up, run up here, get rejected, and come in and actually fill this wick in with a candle. And that's what happened. We came up to the daily 55. Okay, we got rejected and capitulated, and we came down and filled this wick in here with a candle. Okay, we filled it in with a candle, and at the same time we created a wick, a lower wick low than this low, and that's quite negative. So you've got a low here and a lower low, and you've got a high here and lower highs coming down on you. Okay, so it's quite negative structure at the moment. Okay, now one thing that I wanted to point out is that you can see our previous support area, okay, our previous support, let me get that line back in, has now potentially, you've come down, lost that support, and are potentially coming up and running into it as resistance. You can see we've had a wick today up to the daily 20, but the selling pressure has come straight back in off that 20 EMA. Okay, so that in itself is quite negative. Now, what I want to watch out for here is, are we going to come up again and actually get a near close candle on this 20 and 55 as they come down, and then see further rejection and actually fill this new wick in with a closed candle? That is a big potential here, because what you can see over the past couple of weeks is you've got a low, a high, a lower low. If you come up now and get rejected by this 20 as it comes down and create a lower high, you're creating something called negative market structure, okay? And you could potentially come back down and retest this low. So that, all in all, that's what I'm looking for. Right now, we are up, I think it's about 31% today. So not financial advice, guys, but if you do see this area get rejected or start to lose this area, or we come up to the daily 20 or 55 and equally get rejected again, it might be a good time to start taking profits, especially if you see Bitcoin losing its structure furthermore, okay? So, you know, straight off the bat, we are in some sort of retracement to the upside at the moment. So we're currently retracing back to this high that we fell from. Okay, now what you can see here is equally we've come up to the 0618, and right now the candle close is sitting on the 050. Okay, so these are strong resistance levels once you've lost previous support. Okay, so we lost previous support, we've capitulated, come back up, and now we're running into the 050 and the 0618. So what we need to do is be very, very careful and cautious here, because this is now strong resistance. I mentioned, okay, from February it was support, and we've now turned that support, you can see we're hitting our head on it on the 050 as resistance. So is this sort of some sort of relief rally up into these sort of levels? As I said, the 20 EMA and the 55 as they come down, and this is where you see further rejection, filling this wick in here with a candle. Because as I said, these wicks tend to get filled in. It got filled in right here. This wick got filled in right here the past 2 days. Okay, but within doing so, we've created a lower wick. So potentially this is going to this is potentially going to start to come back down again and retest this low. You know, I was saying that at this low here, potentially this isn't the low that's in. It could be, but you know, we came up to the 55 and we saw rejection. Okay, so now we're taking this, as I said, a low, a high, a lower low. If we create a lower high, it's a negative market structure. Okay, so that's one thing I'm keeping my eyes on for Dome. Okay, now where could we potentially find support? Well, if we do start getting rejected at this sort of level here, which is the 0618 and 050, and retracing back down to this low, you can see equally as running into these levels of resistance, they could actually, when retracing, act as support. So this 050 and 0618 area is somewhere I'll be keeping my eyes on if we do come up and start to retrace. Because if you hold that and hold a higher low here, okay, that's good. That shows that potentially you could come up and create a higher high. And if you do, okay, you've got a low, a high, and if you come down and hold a higher low, okay, you're starting to flip the switch and turn bullish again. Okay, but to be honest, I really don't see it happening. There's a lot of fear, there's a lot of FUD, you know, with terror, with recessions, inflation. You know, the market sentiment right now is really negative, and you've got to bear in mind that a lot of market structure is based off human emotion. So when humans feel like they're not doing too well and the markets ain't doing too well, people tend to sell off. One thing you've got to consider with Bitcoin as well is that over the past year and a half or so, a lot of spam projects, a lot of you know, meme coins, and that there's been thousands of projects that have been created that actually don't have real utility. I'm not saying that all of them don't, but a majority of them don't, I believe. And I feel like it needs to be flushed out of the market. We need some sort of cleanse. And if Bitcoin does go through with that, we're going to see Everdome do the same thing. Okay, guys? So that's a quick update with Everdome. Watch out for this level here, because this is the 050 and 0618 area around here. If we start to come up and see rejection, you'll kind of come down and retest this low here. Okay, and if this low is lost, it can get quite negative and nasty for Dome. Now, what you can see is that Dome, since this 9th of February low, had one massive candle on its inception, okay, that pumped up. So if this low is lost, we're into territories. Sorry, it's already lost. We're already in territory that's quite risky to be in, because we could fall quite fast and quite hard. Now, one thing that makes me feel like we could potentially do that before I go is the fact that Dome has actually held up very, very well, considering the crash of many altcoins on the market. You know, from the crash that Bitcoin went through a few days ago, we have seen some sort of capitulation. We fell 60%, okay, which is actually quite a steep crash. But you can see we've also recovered in some sort of V recovery quite quickly. So there's a lot of volatility going on. And guys, I just want to show you just to be careful, okay? Be careful. Now, one more thing that I wanted to show is potentially from this low, from this high to this low, okay, which we was retracing from, you can see that we met our 2.414 target down here. Bang on the nose it fell onto, okay, and closed at 0.019908, okay? Now, is this a low? This is what I mean. Is it a low? We have to watch and see what happens. If we can get above this resistance and close above it and start working our way up in higher low structure, okay, that it's good. It is good. But as I said, guys, just be cautious. Watch out for resistance above. Keep an eye on Bitcoin. If Bitcoin starts to roll, do watch the rest of the market, because at the moment a lot of it is in, you know, a lot of coins capitulated and are back up 30%, 25%, 19%. But is this a relief rally into resistance before we see further downside? That's the question. So yeah, guys, that's a quick update on Everdome. I hope you enjoyed. Until next time, from ChartNodeTA, peace out.